Chairman DeFazio and committee members. My name is Mary Lerdahl, currently the owner of Emerald Consulting Services in the Seattle area. Prior to starting my firm to help DBEs navigate the challenges of the construction industry, I was an electrical contractor for 22 years. I started my firm, DBE Electric, in 2009 during the Great Recession after losing my share of another company as a result of a marital dissolution. Firm DBE Electric performed 122 projects valued at over $80 million over the course of 9 years until I was forced out of business as a result of WSDOT, Washington State Department of Transportation's waiver to exclude white women from the DBE program. The waiver was approved by US DOT in 2016 after, in my opinion, a faulty disparity study that included projected revenue from the two largest mega projects in Washington State history. From the time the waiver was enacted in June 2017 to mid-2018, my firm's revenues went from $9 million a year to zero. Without the designation of a DBE, I couldn't win a single project, even with my successful track record. I was the only female contractor in the state that performed complex heavy highway electrical projects, traffic signals, illumination, intelligent transportation, and tolling systems. By September of 2017, a new disparity study showed that white women were not overrepresented, and WSDOT asked US DOT to rescind the waiver on September 11, 2017. I personally made 2 trips to Washington, D.C. to meet with US DOT, Federal Highways, and Terrence Coleman of the Department of Assistant Attorney General's Office, all to no avail. When US DOT finally denied WSDOT's request to rescind the waiver on December 13, 2019, it was far too late to save my business and the businesses of other white women in our state. Because of the DBE program, I participated in building the SR 520 floating bridge, the longest floating bridge in the world, with Kiewit. The contract was a design-build project, and my contract value was $14 million. It was a great example of how a small DBE firm like mine could work together with a large prime contractor to grow, learn, and build a project that all contractors could be proud of. At the same time as I was building the bridge project, I was also working on the SR 99 bored tunnel project valued at $1.6 billion with Seattle Tunnel Partners, a joint venture with Dragados and Tudor Perini. I've experienced many incidents of overt and subtle discrimination in many years, but this one was the worst. Shortly after winning the tunnel project, Tudor Perini purchased Fisk Electric, a large firm out of Houston. At an initial DBE outreach meeting, a Fisk representative blatantly stated that they were only interested in receiving labor-only bids from DBE firms, thus exposing the DBE firms to more risk and less profit from the less risky material purchases portion of the work. A local subcontractor, J.H. Kelly, was brought in to sub out to the 2 electrical firms owned by the joint venture, Fisk being owned by Tudor Perini and CICE being owned by Dragados in Spain, to minimize the appearance of self-dealing. While my firm ultimately performed $977,246 of work on the project, public records show that CICE performed $34,315,556, and Fisk performed $106,057,656. STP solicited bids from DBE firms like mine in order to show good faith efforts, only to self-perform much of the work. I experienced sexual advances while on the project site while supervising my crews. Getting paid was slow and difficult, and begging was necessary, as I always had some excuse. They needed 2 signers who were rarely both there, for example. Finally, while my firm was working on a change order to convert temporary generator power to permanent power feeding refrigerated shipping containers, I experienced discrimination at the hands of Mike Kirshner, a project manager for Tudor Perini. He was pressuring me to proceed with ordering expensive Siemens electrical gear, but my change order hadn't yet been signed for that work, and STP owed me over $80,000 that was very past due. I put in a call to the local electrical union for an electrician to do the power cutover, but the union wouldn't fill my call for labor. I met with Mike Kirshner face-to-face to discuss the ongoing failure of the union to respond to my call. And after looking me up and down in a sexually suggestive manner, he informed me that if I didn't have labor on the job the next day, he would take over my work. The next day, my crews were shut out of the job and my equipment was taken over. I also received a letter from the union that day pulling manpower from all of my jobs, including the bridge project. Fortunately, Kiewit intervened and didn't allow that to happen, so my company lived to see another day. I later learned that Fisk took over my work and that Tudor Perini had colluded with the union to make this happen. My firm finally got paid the $80,000 owed by STP only because of Federal Highway's investigation into WSDOT's mishandling of the DBE program on the project. Tudor Perini has been found guilty of DBE fraud on several occasions across the country and has paid millions of dollars in fines. In my opinion, the only reason Tudor Perini hasn't been disbarred from federal contracting is because of the powerful connection between this company and a certain U.S. senator. In closing, the DBE program is essential to allow small firms owned by women and minorities to compete for a few pennies of the highway dollar. However, it must be administered with strict compliance, starting with Federal Highways Enforcement of CFR Part 26. State and local programs, field compliance need to start from the bottom up, listening to the DBE firms and the field inspectors from each agency instead of from the top down, so the issues can be resolved as soon as possible to avoid business failure due to non-payment and discrimination during disputes. Waivers should never again destroy a DBE firm, separating the DBE communities. Unfortunately, due to human nature, discrimination will probably always be with us, but this program is effective and the committee has an opportunity to strengthen it and make it more accountable and transparent to participating firms and taxpayers. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story, and I'd be happy to share any other information you would like. Thank you.